So some lessons with that. First of all, you have to want it. You have to want it. You have to keep it in your mind every day and every night. It has to be the first thought in your mind when you wake up and the last thought in your mind when you go to sleep. Any less than that, and you will not make it. That's the lesson there. And it doesn't matter if you're young, you're old, you're new in the business, you're old in the business. These are all just excuses. Let's all get over these small things and go for our goal. One of the things I'll share with you one of the things that keep me going also. My father told me the difference between a rich man and me is that the rich man has more zeros in his bank account. And most likely he has a bigger problem than I do. And I have the solution for that problem, which is life insurance and investments. That's what my dad told me. And that's the reason why I have that courage to meet with the VIPs. I'm not scared of VIPs. I'm not scared of the big guys. My clients are all CEOs, managing directors, big business owners. These are my clients. And I'm not scared of them because I know that we are all human and they just have more zeros in their bank account. That's it. So you guys shouldn't be scared as well. I mean, we're all human. We're probably wondering what to do with their money anyway. Might as well give it to you guys. Okay, so that's how I made TOT. Now, maybe some of you are wondering how I made MDRT every year for the past 11 years. This year will be my 12th year. I'm done with this year. I finished MDRT for next year, last April. I tried to make it a point to finish MDRT at least within the first half of the year, so that I can make court of the table during the second half, and I'm very close there, around $50,000 premium left, MCOT. Now, I'll show you some of my keys to becoming MDRT. All right, as mentioned, identify the best. Find out who is the best producer, the top producer in your own companies, and ask to be introduced. If he or she doesn't know you, it's time for them to know you. You know why? Because you are about to be the next top producer of your company. Now that you've introduced yourself to the top producer, ask to be mentored. You know, the good thing about being an MDRT is that we espouse the sharing ideas. We love to share ideas. That's the very core of being a member of the $1 Million Roundtable. So ask to be mentored, because no one here has a monopoly of all the good ideas. Then, identify your unique strength. Each one of us here, although we're all human, have our own unique ability. For myself, it's being young and being a very voracious reader. I love to read, research, and I apply that in my trade, in my business. Maybe for some of you here, you have that emotional touch where you can connect easily with people. Maybe some of you here are problem solvers, where you can easily detect what the problems of your prospects are. Identify your unique strength and use it in full force in your business. Of course, this goes without saying, increase your knowledge. One of the sayings that I know is, when you stop learning, you stop earning. Keep that in mind. When you stop learning, you stop earning. So always increase your stock knowledge. Be your own critic. This is something that I always do after a sales call. Whenever I have a sales call and I close the sale, or I don't close the sale, regardless of the outcome, I always ask myself, with that kind of a performance, would I buy from myself? What did I do wrong? What did I do right? What can I improve in the future? So be your own critic. Espouse the MDRT way of sharing ideas. Now I'm going to share with you some ideas. Would you like that? All right. So some of my proven sales ideas. Number one, I always put myself in my client's shoes, even if they don't fit. So put yourself in your client's shoes. Most of the time, most of us here, it's always me, me, me. My product, my product, my product. That's not going to fly, ladies and gentlemen. It has to be you, you, you. What can I do for you? What can I do for your family? What can I do for your business? How can I help you? It should never be about me, 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 and my product, my product, my product. You do that, you're not going to be MDRT. I guarantee that. Another sales idea I'd like to share with you are my napkin presentations. Now, these are not new. I got this from my company's library. And this is very, very effective. You see, the problem with most prospects is that when they meet with you in a sales call, their minds are closed, right? They're like, oh no, this guy's going to sell to me again. Okay, I'm just going to listen to him because he's a friend of my friend. And I'll say no. And then that's it, you know. They're always like that. They're closed. Napkin presentations will help you open up their minds to the concept that you're selling. This is one of those napkin presentations. Can I afford to get sick? Right? It's called napkin presentations, by the way, because all you need is a piece of napkin in a coffee shop and a pen. And you can draw this. So you can tell your prospect, Mr. Prospect, while you're strong and you're healthy, you draw 2 lines in the napkin. This is what your income and your expense level looks like. Your income is higher than your expense. Ideally, that should be the case, right? Sometimes it's not. Okay, so while you're strong and healthy, your income and your expense level is like that. And the difference between those 2 lines, Mr. Prospect, that's what we call your savings. However, sir, because it's so easy to spend, there's little or no money left to save. Am I right? All right. Now, you draw a line here, okay? The thing is, Mr. Prospect, as you live your life, sometimes disability will strike you. And when disability strikes, at this point in your life, your income level goes down because you can't work anymore. However, because of the medical bills, hospital expenses, your expense level will go up. Now, Mr. Prospect, if you notice that small point there where the 2 lines intersect, we call it a personal economic crisis. Now, Mr. Prospect, we all must get well. But how can a sick person get well without any money? And my question to you, sir, if you were to get sick and couldn't go to work, how long can you live on your savings? This napkin presentation lasted for 3 minutes. And in that 3-minute period, your prospect's mind, magically opened. Oh no, you're right. Anything could happen. That could happen to me. Now, what do you propose? Normally, they're the ones who will now ask you for the solution. Now, isn't it easier to close a sale with these openings? Thank you. My mentor told me that in order to close effectively, you must open properly. Like a door, if you tear off the door when you open it, try to close it. You can't close it anymore. But if you open the door properly, you can close it properly. This is one way to open properly. This one is for activity management. Now we always hear our managers, our corporate people saying, you know, you have to go out, activity, activity, activity. When I was starting in this business, my mother always told me, activity, activity, activity. She was hammering on my head, activity, activity, activity. Go out, meet 3 people a day, 3 people a day, 3 people a day. Ah, it's so tiring, ma. I got this from the 2003 Top of the Table meeting in Rancho Mirage. I attended that meeting, and I met a very phenomenal man. His name is Moshe Hadari. He's also from London. He's many times TOT also, and he shared with me this idea. I asked him for this because Mr. Hadari, on a good year, Well, back then, he said he can close 1,300 policies every year. On a bad year, he closes around 1,100 on a bad year. So I asked him, how do you do it? What is your secret? And he shared with me this. That's why I named it the Hadari Squares. Now, how many of you here have that weekly appointment book? Calendar? I know in the age of the iPad and the mobile phones, no one uses that, but I still use it. I have an iPad, I have Android, but I still love to use that pen and paper weekly planner where you have Monday to Sunday and you have the time of the day where you put in your appointment. There's a very, very personal way of, putting in your appointments. Now, in that planner, let's say on a Monday, you put 4 squares. There you go. Put 4 squares on Monday. Now, for that day, when you call for an appointment and you secure the appointment, all right, busy tones don't count, unanswered calls don't count. It has to be a secured appointment. You put a check in one of the squares. For that day, when you go on a sales presentation, face-to-face, I'm not talking a meeting where you have to go to your dentist or your spa or parlor. You have to meet a client face-to-face, prospect. You put another square. And then, if you close that sale, or if you collect a check or a signed application with payment, you put another check. Anyone here care to guess what's the 4th window for? I hear a lot about referrals. All right. Unfortunately, it's not referrals, because I also learned that referrals are useless unless you convert them into an appointment. Am I right? You may have a ton of referrals, but if you don't set the appointment, it's useless. So the 4th square is you repeat any one of the 3. Call another appointment, go on another sales call, or close another sale for that day. Then you check the 4th square. Now, once you've done that, okay, you can now go home. Your day is done. You're finished. You completed your 4 squares. You can go home. You can go watch a movie, go out with your kids. Now follow this 3 days of 5 days in a week. You have to complete 4 squares. I guarantee you, it has done it for me, and it will do it for you. You'll be a guaranteed MDRT member. All right. The thing is, that was a top of the table meeting. So I wanted to know how to be TOT every year. This is what he shared. Once you complete the 4 squares, you go 9 squares. So you have to call for 3 people for an appointment, meet 3 people face-to-face, and close 3 sales, or maybe call 9 people for an appointment. You can do a match. If you don't have any sales or close accounts for that day, you can just call 9 people, and you're done. Follow this 3 or 5 days a week, and you're a guaranteed TOT member. Now, if you don't make it, then you go back to the 4 squares. And then you make the 4 squares, you go back to the 9 squares. If you keep going up and down throughout the year, you'll be court of the table. Easy, simple, right? I'd like you to take a look at this saying from Napoleon Hill. It has guided me throughout all these years. He wrote the book, Think and Grow Rich, the most boring book I've ever read. That book, if I'm having a hard time sleeping, I read a chapter of that book. Lights out. Yeah. Anyway, these are his gems. Focus on your desire with all the power of your mind, and the whole universe shall conspire to help you attain this end. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.